Welcome everybody to this coaching movie webinar. Today our guest is Claudia Kovacs, and she's a business and life coach specializing in increasing revenue within a short amount of time. And she specializes in marketing, PR, fundraising, crowdfunding, personalized empowerment. She is a business journalist for several Chamber of Commerce offices, the economic development agencies, and she has worked with Forbes millionaires, billionaires, Oscar, Pulitzer, Nobel Prize winners. Claudia, it's amazing work that you do. It's an honor for us to have you here today. Tell us more about the 5 secret marketing tools to grow your business.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you for having me, Patrick, and good morning, everyone.
So tell us, what's number 1, the secret marketing tool to grow your business?
Absolutely. So there are 5 elements I'd like to talk about today, which I thought would be very useful. There are some advanced techniques, and there are some basic techniques that are underutilized. So let me just tell everyone what those will be. So number 1, we're going to be talking about Wikipedia, how to build your Wikipedia page. If you're at that level already, you might want to have one. It's a wonderful tool. The other thing I like to talk about is press releases. Now, if you're not in the position to hire a press person for yourself, you're able to write your own press release. There's a technique to it. It's not difficult. It's doable. And then also I like to talk about awards. It's very important that you are recognized in your field as someone who has done outstanding work. So that creates credibility, and I'll talk about that more. And then also email signature. I know it's a very simple tool, but it's underutilized. And so I like to talk about the specifics of how you can actually use this free feature, whether you're using Gmail or something else, in terms of promoting your business. We send out 33 emails a day on average, and so that adds to 12,045 emails a year. So that's a wonderful opportunity for people to promote themselves. And last but not least, something that I call the higher purpose. So if you can align your company with a higher purpose or a social cause or a nonprofit, then you can increase your visibility. So these are the 5 elements I'd like to talk about today. And so let's start with the simplest one, which is the email signature. So let's talk about what are those 3 important things that you need to do. So first of all, every email has an email signature feature. So depending on what kind of email you have, whether it's Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, something else, there is a feature where you can enter your logo. You can enter a visual file, a link to a YouTube interview, or your website address, all these kind of things. So you have to be careful how you construct it, because it depends on what colors you use, what font you use, the size of the font. It really depends what is going to be that number 1 thing that the person who is reading your email will notice. So what you want to do is also brand your email signature. So if you have a certain color theme that you are using for your website or for your Facebook page or any of your social media links, and that is something that you use over and over again, then you should be using that in your email signature as well. So the colors should match, the fonts should match, and of course the picture should match. So if there's a certain picture that you're using, either it's a logo or a picture of yourself, that would be great. Many times, I don't know if you've noticed, but we get emails from people who we kind of know the name, but we could not recognize that person on the street if we met them, because we simply don't have a face attached to that name. And so I highly recommend my clients that they use their picture, and they make their picture part of the logo. Maybe you can combine your logo with your profile picture, so people can make that connection. And I do that all the time. So when I go to meetings and networking events, people recognize me. So that's wonderful. And so I don't have to start from zero explaining who I am. And by the time they connect the dots and all these kind of things, it becomes a lengthy process. So you want to introduce yourself via email as much as possible, and you set the ground for success. And also, when you're changing your email signature, you should really be doing it every 4 to 8 weeks. So it is something that's live, the same way as a website. It's a live thing. It changes all the time. And so depending on what you're promoting, you should be promoting that via your email signature. So for example, if you're really focused on the holiday season, you should be able to promote your product and your new products that are coming out via your email signature. And there's something called in marketing called the rule of seven. The rule of seven is basically that a client or a potential client needs to see your message, your marketing message, 7 times. So it's not limited to email signature, but it could be a thank you card, it could be a newsletter, it could be a social media exposure, it could be online. But fundamentally, they need to see that 7 times because before it sets into their psyche and they develop an emotional connection to that given picture and that given product or that given offer. And so that's a wonderful tool to use. The email signature is because basically you can send it over and over and over again, and people will not feel threatened because signing a letter per se or signing your email is part of the deal. So it's not in your face, but it's a passive way of promoting what you're promoting. So there are 3 elements to a successful email signature. One is to include a visual file of the product and make sure it's a good quality picture. So you don't want it to be too grainy. You don't want it one of those funky shots with your iPhone. You want to make sure it's a high quality JPEG, so it's beautiful. Maybe it's even retouched or photoshopped, so it looks beautiful. The colors pop. It's nicely done. It's designed. You should put a little bit of emphasis on designing your visual material. So this is something that you will definitely want to include, and that will communicate. Also, the quality itself will communicate the quality of your service. So the higher the quality of your JPEG, many times people think the higher quality the service is that you're providing. Then we talked about color already, but I would like to just summarize it. So it's really important that you use colors. So fundamental in email is black and white, right? So you want to make sure that you use colors that are aligned with your business. So if, for example, you're an attorney and you do, we think of attorneys as serious, conservative kind of work. So you make sure that you're not using, for example, neon pink. So it needs to be aligned with the purpose of the business and the type of business it is. And so when using a color, it really jazzes up your presence and fun and entertainment elements of your email. So you can make it funny and lovely and depending on what the business is. Then the third one is to, as I said, to keep the interest alive, you have to keep changing it. So you don't want to use the same email signature over and over again for too long. I'd say maybe the longest time I would recommend to use an email signature is 3 months. It just really depends on your email traffic. So even though I mentioned that an average person sends out 33 emails a day, your traffic might be less. So it just really depends. You have to feel your way. And I have gotten a lot of success with my email signature and people responding very well to it. So I highly recommend it. So that was kind of the email signature element that I wanted to talk about because I feel it's such a wasted opportunity not to use a free feature that everybody uses these days, and you can really promote something wonderfully in addition to, of course, additional promotional methods. So this is not a sole promotional method, but it's in addition to, and it works very nicely.
Wonderful. I just realized, Claudia, that I didn't change my signature for a very long time. And thank you for your tips that I'll
You're
definitely have a
welcome.
look at it. It seems obvious, but it's really important to pay attention because you send, like you said, a lot of emails.
Well, sometimes we forget the obvious. I was actually at a networking meeting yesterday, and we talked about what people do in their business to promote the business. And so people had all kind of sophisticated ways of doing it, and we talked about the holiday gifts and the personalized gifts, and we talked about social media and all kind of things, press releases actually, and PR. But very few people talked about the simple methodology of picking up the phone and talking to people and simply connecting with people. So sometimes if you find that some of the things that you're doing online are not working, you may want to go back to the simplest things, because you don't want to always hide behind your computer. You need to have that face-to-face connection. And actually, an email signature, if you use your picture right and you use some visual elements correctly, it could be actually a really good. You could create this element of really getting to know this person, being close to this person, just by seeing their face so many times.
Wonderful. And then indeed, if you're curious if it's worth changing your signature, what you could actually do is, here's another tip maybe that I'm just thinking of, is to track the links that you put in your signature to just see how many people click it, and then you know
Exactly.
black on white whether it's worth it. All right, we don't have so much time, so let's go for the next tip.
Absolutely. And just one more thing I wanted to mention about this is you can actually use logos, and not just logos, but you can also use quotes. And then you can use quotes by clients, or a branding statement. So you can use all those things. And of course, your website link needs to be in there. So absolutely. All right. The next one I thought maybe I'd talk about is awards. So awards are really a lovely topic for me, because I feel that they really make a difference. Recently, I have read an article about award-winning, Oscar-winning, Academy Award-winning actors, directors, and there was actually statistics and a research done on this, that people who win awards, actually the Oscar winners outlive the nominees. So I'm not a scientist, so I'm not sure how they did this research, but anyhow, I think it's a really interesting element to creating successful business, because you want to feel successful personally at what you're doing. You want to have that sense of accomplishment, and so when you get an award, it really gives you wings. And I myself have won several awards. Matter of fact, this weekend I won an award, so I'm really excited about this, up in San Francisco. And it just really gives you the self-assurance that you're doing the right thing. You're providing a service to your clients that others recognize. So what you want to do is research what are the awards in your industry, what are the meaningful awards, and what are maybe the local awards. And you want to really be informed about this and kind of climb the ladder when it comes to award winning. One award is great, the more the merrier. So locally, it's a great way to start. Maybe it's your local chamber, it's your local trade organization, but then you also should be aware of your national and international awards. And what are those awards that when people see it, automatically it creates credibility for you, which is a very important element. So obviously in the show business, Oscars are the top. So once you say someone is an Academy Award and Oscar winner, you don't have to explain whether you're talented or not, whether you're successful or not, because it comes with the territory. And basically, this is perception management. So awards really help you to manage that perception about your business, about your services, about the work that you do, and who you are as a professional. So it's very, very important that you kind of go after that and try to win as many awards as possible, and be strategic about it. It's part of your marketing technique.
Do you have a quick tip how to increase your chances to find the appropriate awards and win those?
How to increase the what? I'm sorry?
Your chances in being nominated and receiving some of those awards.
Absolutely, I actually do. Actually, I do. So first of all, you need to research every organization that gives the award. You need to find out what the award is for and who is it given by. So if there's a committee, usually there's a committee that gives out an award. You want to know who is on the committee. And also, very important, and people don't really think about it that much, but it's a very important element that I have found, is when you are in an environment where you could possibly get an award, you need to assure the committee and the organizers and the people who are basically putting on the award show is that you will be present. So in other words, they want to give an award to somebody who will be there to receive it, to give it, a wonderful speech, to be the type of person that they can present publicly. So you need to become a presentable person in terms of how you act, what you wear, how you speak, where you're able to do public speaking, and how you're going to have that speech that they can. So you want to become absolutely professional about it. This is really important. So when they see, I have found when they see that you're truly there, you're going to show up, you're reliable, you're the type of person they are proud to show off. Casey a little bit, but that is the truth. That is what I have found. Then the likeliness of you receiving the award and them considering giving you that given award is much higher. Absolutely. Over where to get awards? Okay. Well, it really depends on the industry. So there are always usually, well, I work with a lot of, for example, entertainment industry people. So obviously film festivals for people and public figures, it's a good place. Also local chambers or some sort of economic organization locally is great. Many times local newspapers and local communities have awards. So these are the places to start looking at, and trade organizations. So and trade papers. Many times those give awards as well.
Great, thank you very much. So, what's the next one on the 5 secret marketing tools?
Okay, so the higher purpose is something I love talking about because it's very important. I think at the end of the day, probably most of us feel that we want to contribute to either society or humankind or other people because it gives us a sense of satisfaction. So if we can align our business or our business activities, career with a cause that is we're going to be able to feed energy and money and attention to, and vice versa, which is what the key is, then I think that's a really great way to draw attention to your business. Statistics show that those companies who actually give a percent of their income to a certain cause are much more supported emotionally, and therefore the purchasing power. People practice their purchasing power to support those companies. So you always see, for example, if you go to a health food store, at least here in America, is you buy a certain shampoo and 5% goes to the rainforest, or a certain percent goes to orphanages in Africa, or things like this. So people are, consumers have become very sophisticated. And they want to support companies and enterprises and entrepreneurs who are conscious about these kind of things, conscious about various elements. And so, for example, if your company is dealing or creating a environmental product, then your higher cause per se should be an environmental cause, as opposed to, for example, a social cause. So you have to carefully select it, that first of all what you're passionate about and what you can truly loan, what kind of a cause you can truly loan your name to and your company's name to, but also you want to be strategic about it, because, for example, if your company makes, let's say, snow shovels, and you're supporting the rainforest, the two are not necessarily connected. I mean, maybe there's a way to find a connection, now that I think about it, but you know what I mean. So,
what are the top 3 causes you have in mind that would
okay.
work for a coaching business?
Okay, so for James, thank you for the question. One thing you need to look at carefully is who your target audience is. So coaching could be a lot of things. It could be, depending on whether you're coaching younger people, older people, what kind of socioeconomic level these people are at, what profession they are in, what geographic location they are in, what are their interests, what are the causes they care about. So you need to look at the causes of your audience that they care about, and that would be, these would be good causes to choose for your business. So I mean, I don't know enough about the business. I don't know if James can plug in more information, but fundamentally, if you go by that rule, is whatever your customers and the people that you're coaching are interested in and sensitive to and care about, if you choose one of those causes, that you can go wrong.
Wonderful. He's into business coaching, he says.
Okay, all right. So then you want to narrow it down even further. What kind of business? What level of business? Whether it's, CEO, CFOs, executive kind of, or more like professionals. So go with that general rule is pick the causes that your clients care about. So I'm sorry, Patrick, you were saying to move on to the next topic, right?
If we finish this one, yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay, so Wikipedia is another one that I absolutely love. I think Wikipedia is a wonderful tool for several reasons. First of all, Wikipedia pages are SEO'd, and so if you have a Wikipedia page, the likeliness of someone is Googling you will pop up at the very top, which is really hard to do with personal websites or business websites because the algorithm is always changed. I mean, Google always changes the algorithm for whatever the criteria is to be on page number 1 and on top of the page. So, but Wikipedia, because it's such a large organization, you can trust. So if you're in the position to have your own Wikipedia page, it's important to have one and create one. And it's not necessarily, from a technical point of view, it's not the easiest thing to do, and we do that for my clients, but fundamentally you want to, it's doable, it just needs some time to be able to figure it out. Also, it's free, and it gives you exposure for no charge. So that's another element. Obviously, if you have a website, you have to pay for the hosting and all these kind of things, which is not a lot of money, but still, free is always beautiful. And so having a Wikipedia page is complementary to your online presence, currently existing online presence. So that would be the web page or social media pages, LinkedIn, that kind of thing. So it's in addition to, not instead of. It's very important. Also, Wikipedia is very organized and to the point. So people like using Wikipedia. Even it's anybody can change any information on it. So in terms of scientific evidence or anything like that, it's not the best resource. But as a general outline to find people and locate people and have a general idea what this person is about, what they do, what their successes have been, it's a really great resource and it's easy to navigate. So this is another reason why people really like it. Also, it creates that enormous credibility, who you are. You don't have to, if you have a Wikipedia page, because not anybody and everybody can get on there, there's a certain criteria. For example, for companies, you have to be a quite established company to be able to, excuse me, my cherry squeaking here. So you have to be an established, you have to have an established company to be able to be listed on Wikipedia. So people know that if you're on Wikipedia, you're somebody per se, and so that automatically creates the reputation and the credibility that perhaps you are seeking. And also, very importantly, your website will probably be outlived by a Wikipedia page if you have one. So that's another beautiful thing about it, is it's probably going to live on for quite a long time. And just recently, for Mother's Day, my mother passed away years ago, and for Mother's Day, I was thinking what to do, and my mother was an Olympic swimmer, so I actually did her Wikipedia page. And you have to be very careful, by the way, making sure that it's a factual, all the facts are verifiable, And the whole text that you're entering, like your bio page, it's very factual as opposed to opinion. So if you're doing it, you may want to ask an expert or somebody else to look at it that way to make sure that you're not the text doesn't have a promotional element, or it doesn't feel like a promotion, and you want to make sure that Wikipedia, even though they work with volunteers, they eventually will look at your page, because they catch up within a year or two, or sometimes 3 years, but they will catch up, and you want to make sure that it's not going to be deleted. I actually happened to someone who thought, oh, he's going to do his Wikipedia page, and it seems easy, but it's actually not as easy as it seems. It's a little bit like gymnastics. It seems easy because professionals, people do it, but we couldn't do it. So you want to make sure that you don't overstate things, you cross-reference things, you add links, and by links I don't mean your website, but outside links, verifiable outside links. So these are the elements and the important reasons why you should have a Wikipedia page if you can. If you're a public figure, it's definitely a great way to go. I know I have some clients who are on this call who are actors and authors and directors. So it's really good for you guys. If you have a business, you have to evaluate whether your business is successful enough for the business itself to have a Wikipedia page.
All right, thanks for the advice. I know this could be useful for others to know. How much do we have left? One more?
Yes, we have one more, and that's the press release.
So yeah, I'm curious. We've done a few press releases in the past, quite a lot already, and I'm curious what's new we can learn from you.
Okay, so let me go back, take a step back and say that I love marketing, and I love marketing for one reason, and that reason is because marketing is nothing less but letting the world know how you can contribute with your work, with your thoughts, with your discoveries, with your performance, or whatever it may be. Now, PR is pretty much the same, except someone else is promoting you. And so that's why I love PR and marketing both, because I think they are wonderful tools for the world to discover how you can help the world. And so I take pride in my marketing and in my PR work, because I feel that it really does make a difference for people. So exposure, obviously, the more exposure you have and the more exposure your business has, and the more people know about your work, the likeliness of you succeeding is the greatest, or becomes greater, pardon me. And so your job is to position yourself in a way that exposure is possible. And one tool for that is the press release. Writing a press release is not as complicated as it may seem, and it has one common thing with the Wikipedia page: it has to be factual. It's not about opinion, it's not about the salesy promotion type of feeling, but rather it has to be factual. It's really important that you position yourself and you explain through the press release what's unique about the event or your business or the given activity that you're releasing the press release about. And there are various sections within the press release, and it's very important to have your contact information on the top and at the bottom. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that the contact person is not you. If you're, for example, if you're a solopreneur, or you're an individual public figure, you need to actually have a person, a contact person that can be contacted when when the media reaches back out to you and wants to interview you. So you may want to use an assistant, a contact information, or your press agent, or your consultant, your coach, somebody who can talk on behalf of you and can represent you well. And last but not least, you want to elaborate in the middle of the press release about the first lead. So when you say the lead on the very top, you basically summarize what this is about, and then you have to have a paragraph about elaborating basically about the whole event or the whole product or your business. And also you want to have a section, a paragraph in there where it explains simply who you are or who the company is. So what are you known for? Who are you at? How long have you been in business? What is that you're promoting? Why are you promoting it? Why do you pick, for example, why did you choose to create this new product, anything like that. So normally a press release, a basic press release is about 400 words. So if you would want to release your press release through a wire service, 400 words, including the date, including the location, including the contact information, needs to be 400 words. And then the price usually increases once you step over 400. So 401 is more expensive than 400. So you want to stay within 400. And then you also don't want to have particularly long press release because it's simply not useful. Most people, especially at this day and age when the attention span is so short, it's not necessary to have a long press release. Now, in a classic form, classic press releases do not have any sort of visual material. However, with the era changing, now we can include visual material. So that could be sometimes even a video, a JPEG, a logo, and again, using your logo with the colors that you use, with the pictures. So there's a lot of visual elements now these days in press releases, and I really think that boosts your presence and the interest in your business. And again, one more thing about press release, not only writing the press release, but to getting it out there. So one thing is to write the press release, and one thing is to getting it out there and make sure that these press releases are being read by the journalists who actually can help you to promote the business. And also, when you're writing a press release, make sure that you list or put the press release link on your website, because at one point when let's say your first press campaign was not successful and it was not picked up by a magazine or a newspaper or a radio station or TV station, but at one point you will be picked up if you're really diligent about doing the press work. And so at that point, probably that journalist will come and visit your website and see all the press releases you have written, and that will be really helpful in terms of making that given press occasion very successful and satisfying for you.
Thank you, Claudia. I think our time is up. I think this also answered the questions of a few people that had those questions here on the way. I'd like to thank you very much for your time and for your insightful tips. Obviously, if people would be interested after this to get in touch with you, how can they do that best, and where do they go?
Thank you for that question. So my company is called My Success Consultant, and my website address is mysuccessconsultant.com. And so what I really do is I elevate people's success. So I come in and I look at people's business challenges and personal challenges, and I reverse engineer. So basically we determine where somewhere is and where they want to go, and I close the gap by strategizing what is that they need. Sometimes they need press presence, sometimes they need marketing, sometimes they need time management. It just really depends. And so if someone wants to work with me, what I offer is a free consultation, because I want to make sure it's a good match. So if you would like to have a free consultation, all you have to do is go to mysuccessconsultant.com, and on the top right corner you can plug in for a free consultation. There will be no pressure to buy. We're just going to have a discussion, what you like to achieve. I can answer your questions. Matter of fact, I can give you some solutions right on the spot, and it's not going to cost you anything, and you can schedule something today or tomorrow. So this is something that how I start my process, and if the person feels that I'm the right person for them to create that success that they are wanting and craving, then we can go from there.
Thank you very much, Claudia. I'm looking forward to see you very soon again, and thank you very much for being generous, for offering a free consultation session to the listeners right now. Thank you very much to everybody who is thanking right now, and looking forward to see you on the next occasion.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.